Welcome to the Dawn to Dusk podcast with your host, Douglas Wood, author of From Dawn to Dusk, How to Build a Multi-Million-Dollar Law Practice and Then Give It Away. In each episode, Doug speaks with distinguished legal professionals who have mastered the intricacies of building a successful law practice and then transitioning to retirement or other fulfilling pursuits when the right time comes. Now, let's join Doug for today's insightful discussion.
Welcome to the Dawn to Dusk podcast. I'm Doug Wood, and today my guest is Roberto Arochi, founder and managing partner of Arochi and Linder in Mexico and Spain. I've known Roberto for more than 20 years. When I first met him, when I founded the Global Advertising Lawyers Alliance way back when, and he and I have become good colleagues and friends. I've had the opportunity to work with him on some big matters over the years, and just thoroughly enjoyed both his professionalism and his collegiality and friendship. Roberto has spent, at this point, more than 4 decades shaping the future of intellectual property, advertising, and marketing law in Mexico and beyond. His offices are in Mexico and Spain, and the firm is now a true family legacy, with his son Jose has joined as a partner and is very involved in the firm as well. He's highly regarded and one of America's preeminent legal minds, and Mexico's preeminent legal minds, or maybe America's too, for all I know. But he's been ranked in chambers and partners in the top tier for over 16 years, which is a huge accomplishment and a testament to his expertise. They say in chambers that his clients praise him as a visionary lawyer who is completely dedicated to client service. And that's something we talk about in these podcasts, and we'll get to that as well. But he has a deserved reputation, unmatched expertise, strategic foresight, and an unwavering commitment to the practice of law. He's a graduate, and I'll get these pronunciations terribly, but he's a graduate of the Universidad Iberoamericana and the Universidad Panamerica, and he is also going to he's getting his doctorate this September, having written a treatise on trademark law in Mexico. So late in his career, he decided he needed yet another law degree, so he's Dr. Arochi very shortly. His leadership also extends beyond the courtroom. He serves as president of the Intellectual Property Commission of CONCAMIN. Did I pronounce that right, Roberto?
CONCAMIN.
And the Bar Association, and is an active member in INTA, the Global Advertising Lawyers Alliance, which I mentioned earlier, and numerous other national and international organizations. He also contributes to the greater good as a trustee of a hospital in Mexico, and he's former president and current counselor of the Mexican Bar Foundation, a charitable organization. But while his legal career is a masterclass in success, he still finds time to play golf a couple times a week, whenever it is. That she took up 5 years ago, just like I did. And I'm no doubt in my mind he's better than I am, because I can't be any worse. But in any event, he's only 68 years old, a young 68, and thinking about what's going to happen in the future. We'll talk a little about that right now. And what he does right now is he handles big cases for the firm and works his butt off, as he'll tell us later. So welcome to the podcast, Roberto.
Thank you, Doug. My pleasure.
So let's get right into it. The listeners and the viewers are really interested in my guests in terms of why they become lawyers, where they grew up, what their past was, and what motivated them to follow the path of becoming a lawyer. So tell us about that.
Well, I think I was 18, 19 years old. And my father, he at that time he was owning a industrial factory for air brakes, and he told me, I don't want that you come to work with me. I feel that you can be a good lawyer. And he pushed me very, very, very strongly, and I said, why not? And every time that my father instruct me to do something, I was very, very decent. I said, yes, yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir. So I did, and so I went to Universidad Iberoamericana. I was 19, and in the second year, I told my father, forget it. I'm gonna be a lawyer. I don't want to work in your business. I try to convince my brothers, which they did, and so I started 15 days from the day that I started the school, the law degree, to work as a law clerk. So I work in the morning from 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock, and then my school, it was from 4:30 to 10 o'clock for 4 years. But the worst thing is that I was playing in the dream team of the college, of my university. So I have to go and train Mondays and Wednesdays from 2:30 to 4. So I have to run from my office to my university, that it was like 40 minutes. I was in the waves. I was changing my shorts, my etc. And then I take a shower in a very small shower. It was an electric shower, so I don't smell bad in my class. So that was Mondays and Wednesdays for all my life. I was very proud to be part of the selection, or whatever you want to call it, from my university, because you play around Mexico, and we were champions in many places. So it was fun.
And
Uh,
this was the soccer, right?
it was a soccer, of course. Before I went to the law school, I decided I don't want to be professional. I prefer to be professional in my career, which was very sad. And it was very sad because when I was in the soccer, so I was the number one, or we were the number one. And when I was a law clerk, because you were nothing, no, you were just an employee, somehow bringing papers or preparing memorandums or whatever. But you were nothing, and that was my life of maybe 6 or 7 years, no. I worked in a corporate firm. At that time, the name, it was Goodrich, Dalton, Little, and Ricomi. At that time, it was the tier one in corporate law. And then I left and I went to a IP practice for 3 years, which I don't like it. And Baker McKenzie was trying to build a IP practice. So I started as a young lawyer, because when I got my law degree, I started with Baker McKenzie. It was in 1982, and I was there for 14 years. I was selected international partner when I was 31. And suddenly I said, I don't have nothing to do here. I mean, I feel that the one that can do business, and they're technical with respect to your business, etc. I don't think at that time, that was my belief at that time, to work in a law firm like Becker McKinsey. So I started my own film. I mean, and that firm started with my associate, Heidi Littner, and with my associate Mariano Marroquin, Mike Margain, and Eduardo Cervera. Those nice persons that I still have a good relation. Heidi is still my partner. Mariano passed away, and the other is around, but I see everybody with friendship, no, with a good relation with everybody. So we started from search with my law firm, and what was the why we in very short term we were tier one, only working, have discipline. Always I was trying to get the best systems. For example, I was the first that we got the system, a billing system. It was extremely expensive. I don't care. I don't have the money, but I bought the system. There was another system with respect to charging the copies and everything, and I was the first, and I did it. I was the first one that with respect to the control of the IP. And I remember that I was the first one in Latin America with CPI that I bought the system. So always trying to have discipline, to work hard. And when I was working hard at the same time, I was thinking who I have to call, who I have to push. And for many months, I was traveling to the States from Sunday through Wednesday, trying to find people, trying to reach my former clients.
So,
And
so let me
yeah,
just interrupt you because I'd like to
yeah,
break that down a little bit first.
yeah.
One observation I would make, which I find fascinating, is that over 30 years ago, you were using technology, you were adopting the technology to run a business. Well, most lawyers didn't even know what it was. I mean, they were still working on, what is the difference between a fax and a telex or whatever it was. So that's an interesting that you put your arms around technology and invested in that, which obviously worked out well for you. I mean, now you've got almost 200 lawyers working in your enterprise, and it's international. You start off just 5 folks, in
Yes.
Mexico City, and look what you've built. It's really amazing. But so the 5 of you started out. You were the head. You were the leader, the founder. Um, what were and then you talked about going to the United States, to sort of look at contact with clients and stuff like that. What were some of the things like that and other things you did over the early years of your career as a owner of the firm to build your clients, to build your business? What were some of your techniques?
Uh, to go to the seminars and to go to seminars and be active in the seminars. I always sit in the first row and I always ask questions. Always.
Hmm.
So they know me, number one. To participate in all sports events in the seminars because they know you. So and that was INTA, no? That was INTA because I remember that I was running the 5K, or I was part of the committees, or my first INTA was in 82. Imagine, 82.
Well, for
My,
and for listeners, INTA is the International Trademark.
it was the USTA.
Yeah, it used to be the USTA, and
The
it
USTA.
it is a yearly confab of thousands of lawyers
Yes, at that
world that
time,
is
at
a
that
complete
time, yes.
zoo. It's
I,
really quite challenging. You got to have a
I,
plan going in there.
Well, I was 25. I went to Itasca, Illinois for a mid-year meeting. The task was enforcement of tennis shoes. Imagine, enforcement of tennis shoes at that time. And I started going to the INTA. Suddenly, River called me and say, we need a lawyer. We need an aggressive lawyer to do in litigation, to do in enforcement. So they came to Mexico and they do a bar exam. I remember it was like 2 hours. And I remember that it was Harley Lowen and Kirk Rutkensky, the ones that make me the exam. And at the end, I got the work. So it was not only the work that I got from Baker, it was the relationship that I had with my clients. For example, with my clients, if my clients call me one day, I said, my friend, today or tomorrow morning, no more. I remember that my partner say, no, next week or in 2 weeks. No, 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 no. Today or tomorrow. No, no, no more than that. Or for example, my clients that are coming to Mexico, I went to pick them in the airport and I send it to their hotel. I mean, I try to be friendly and always very close to my clients.
Many of your clients, as I recall, are not in Mexico. They're from the United States. They're from other parts of the world, where there are huge cultural differences, between what they expect, and particularly, remember one time telling me when I was in a case in Europe, and I was trying to be a little aggressive as an American lawyer. The person looked at me and said, "Are all you lawyers cowboys in the United States?" Yeah, so it was. So how have you approached the cultural differences of having a global practice with clients that are in Europe and in America and Asia, all over the world? How have you
Well,
dealt with that?
frankly speaking, my partner Harry was always very concerned because she always she was telling me, Roberto, you are very very friendly, but you push a lot, and the clients doesn't like that. Well, in my case, they like it. They like it that I was very open. I always try to know the latest cases. I always like to know the latest theories and try to develop those theories into Mexico. No, so for example, the was what it was a case in the States. So I want to do the same case in Mexico with one of my clients, and I did it. And then I go to the seminars and I explain the cases, and I start getting my reputation in Mexico. They, of course, my Mexican colleagues spoke me when I was 25. They don't like the way it was. And by the way, I think I'm still the same. No, I'm still the same. I'm not a guy that really. I mean, I'm very friendly with everybody, but the people doesn't like Roberto Arochi the way he is. And but my clients like the way I am. No, discipline. I try to do the best the best approaches. Push hard. Work late hours. And I'm 68, and I am the same. But for that, you need to prepare yourself. You need to train. You need to really convince that you are doing the best thing for your clients. And of course, always teaching my associates to have discipline. That for example, when I see a desk, plenty of papers and everything, I say, my friend, you have to be organized. If you are not organized, it feels very bad for you or for the clients. So
On that point, Roberto, as you built the practice from, a handful of people to almost 200 people, or maybe more than 200 people, what were some of the actual techniques you used to mentor and to build your associate base? And what did you look for in associates? How did you do the hiring? How did you build that group of people into what they are today?
based on practices, okay? So when we started, we had three or four practice. One, it was trademarks. The other one was patents. The other one was enforcement. The other one was litigation. That was the beginning. Today, so I hire someone in enforcement that knows criminal law. I need someone that runs the investigation. I hire a philosopher that writes well to report and has the feeling to do investigations, and we hire local investigators that they were not in the police, that were in business administration or history or whatever. They were professionals, but and looks like Mexicans, and that was the way to do investigations. Patents. We hire pharmas. We hire for everything related to the patent business. For trademarks, we bring some people from the trademark office, people that used to work in trademarks, and litigation. It was the same. People that used to work in administrative litigation. So we start from zilch. For example, we have two or three very good litigators in IP that used to work in tax. and litigation from tax and litigation from IP are the same procedural codes. So now they love IP and they don't want to move to tax.
Yeah.
So that's the way to do it. I mean, you need to specialize. You need first of all to organize your firm. Really, how you gonna control? The way that I control, I did a formula, and the formula it was quite similar to Baker to just to find what's the production of each professional in the firm. And that gave us a lot of organizations. All the firms in Mexico are IP agencies. We are not IP agencies. We are a IP corporate firm. That's the way I see the firm.
In terms of your business planning, because obviously you adopted technology early on, and I suspect you have an affection for technology today. In terms of your annual planning, what discipline do you go through as a business person in planning your year ahead?
That was the purpose of our formula because we said, okay, I mean, in the first years we had 30 people. I mean, I see that we can grow here 15% here, 10% here, 50%. So we put some percents, and at the end, if we reach the percent, we're very happy. And we don't reach the percent, we sit and say why we didn't reach the goal. And maybe it was the person, maybe it was because I have to be more involved. And that was my work. Always trying to find clients for each of the areas that we have. For example, today we have regulatory, for example, translations. It's a big area for the office because a lot of the patents, a lot of the litigation. What's the marketing law? We have today two lawyers only doing marketing law. And regulatory, we expect to have at the end of the year 10 lawyers. I mean, for Mexico, we're going to be the number one in regulatory and doing all kinds of regulatory, which is extremely big in countries like Mexico.
So, so you through discipline, technology discipline and planning, you built one of the largest firms in Mexico, one of the most respected firms in Mexico as well. Then one day you decided you wanted to open an office in Spain. Take us through your thinking in opening an office in Spain.
Yeah, it was 13 years ago. Uh, Toes is a jewelry company, Spanish company, very big. And they said, Roberto, we like very much the way you do work for us in Mexico. If you do the same thing in Spain, we give you the portfolio around the world. But you have to open an office in Barcelona. So we started in Paseo de Gracia 111, 14 years ago, and we opened an office in Barcelona. And then suddenly we found that it was impossible to have a law firm with one client. So so I started finding people, and we opened an office in Madrid. Uh, and of course, you have problems, no? Well, one of the partners left, and the other partners left, and they took clients and whatever. But we're still there, eh? We're still there. We still probably we lost maybe 40%, and now we're recovering. So it's a challenge to have firms around outside of your country and outside of your personal touch.
And the other thing that I think I'd love to hear your comments on is even though both countries speak Spanish, there's a very big cultural difference
No,
between
no, 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 no.
and Mexico. How do you maneuver through that?
Oof. Yeah, and don't tell the Spanish people, but in my in comparing my associates with the Spanish associates, it's a different level. Uh, in Mexico, I see that they are very hard workers. In Spain, no, you know what? I don't want to go Fridays because, in accordance to the Spanish law and the labor law, I can stay in my house one day. No, it's summer. The schedule is from 8 to 3, etc. In Mexico, doesn't happen. I believe that has been a challenge. That's why I'm trying to find people that really likes, first of all, that they like the law. Secondly, that they like IP. And third, that they're disciplines. And four, that they want to work. They don't want to go and get salary. I mean, all the time we changing people in Spain. So it's a challenge, Doc.
So let me ask you this then. You had the the operations in Mexico were, met all those criteria you just talked about, and then COVID hit, and everybody had to go remote. How have you managed the firm post COVID to get the have you succeeded in getting the same? Have you lost any of that commitment? Are people back in the office? What are you dealing? How are you dealing with that?
No, so I talked with the people and I said, my friends, we have a very nice office, much better than your house. You have a lunch. You have a lunch that we prepare for you every day, which is very good, much better than your house. So I believe that you have to be in the office. I mean, I have only one that he's not coming Fridays, but at the end of the year, I want to say, my friend, you have to come Fridays. If I mean, if I want, I don't come, never, no. But from Monday to Friday, I'm here. I'm here and pushing and showing that I'm here and
So So that brings me to that. That's a good segue to my next question. Then you have a management responsibility, you have a client responsibility, you obviously have lots of things that you're balls in the air. You're juggling at the same time. You're going to Spain to work on the office there. How do you manage your day? What are some of the things you use to keep yourself sane in a crazy practice that you have?
yeah, I wake up at 5:23. Okay, why 5:23? I don't know, but 5:23. My alarm is 5:23, and the first thing I said, God, I hope this is my best day, and you help me to do the best day. That's my first word in the morning, and then I'm 6 o'clock. I'm jumping. I'm in CrossFit Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And Tuesday, I play golf 9 holes from 6 to 8:30, and Fridays I take my lessons 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I come to the office. So that's my days every day. I have lunches with my clients, and I'm not coming to work in the afternoon to my office, but I'm working in my house. I'm working late, 8:30, 9 o'clock. And everybody that wants to discuss anything, I'm always available in my mobile for my clients, for everybody. My mobile is open 24/7, 365 days, whatever they want to call me.
Yeah, the,
Which
the, the level of service when you're in private practice is one of the things that either makes or breaks a lawyer's success. Those who are not willing to accept that sacrifice of 24/7. I used to tell lawyers when I interviewed them for jobs with me that, I'm not really going to sit on top of you to watch where you are, what you're doing, or anything else.
I'm
But you
not,
got to be available 24/7 because
yes,
we're a
I'm not
service
nanny.
business, and in the end of the day, we exist only for the services we provide our clients. If we're not ready to do that 24/7, don't be an independent practitioner.
Oh,
Go go
I
into a
normally say
corporation.
I normally say I'm not your nanny. I mean, and normally something that I do to do nannies, I prefer to find another lawyer, no?
So okay, let's talk. So you're 68, and I think you understand you're not going to do this forever. Uh,
No.
what would you see the future of for yourself? Where's Roberto Arochi going to be in 10 years? What do you think you're going to be doing?
In 10 years, I'm sure that, no, I hope, no, I'm sure. I'm hope that I'm outside of the firm, watching how my sons and my other sons, because the others are also my sons, are doing well for the firm. I mean, I have to say one day that's it. I'm uh, I'm over, and find me for experience, and I can handle some of the cases, but I don't want to do the day to day for a long time. When I'm 70, I want to sit and say, what do you want to do? You want to work 1 year more, 2 years more, or you want to quit and finish and continue maybe coming to the office 3, 4, 5 hours and trying to find practices for the firm or firms for the firm to merge with the firm or make it structure or continue doing some of the litigations because I mean I know people for 45 years, no?
Sure.
And very few. So if you tell me what I'm gonna do in 10 years, I hope I'm playing golf, that I have the health to continue golf, and writing my 4 or 5 edition of my trademark book or patent book or whatever, something to be different to the others that we have been trying to do so. I mean, I don't. For example, my competition has 100 years. No, we are now 31 years. I don't want that in 50 years we we don't have really a vision to grow the business. No, probably we're gonna be end the end to be a full practice
Mhm.
because we have regulatory, we have some corporate, so we moving. I believe we're moving to be full practice with very specialized IP and litigation. I mean, for example, litigation, we have civil, we have criminal, we are, and we are litigating not only IP, regulatory, and other areas. So maybe I'm not answering you what I'm going to do in 10 days, but maybe the answer is first, that I have good health. And secondly, that I hope I can continue doing sports, and third, I would like to see the firm growing and growing and growing.
Well, one of the things that I think is a common thread to all the lawyers talk to on this podcast is their desire to be certain that they leave a legacy, that when the time comes, and the time will come, as I jokingly say, sooner or later we all reach our use by date, whether we like it or not, and the whole sort of process you go through is really very much motivated by the legacy you want to leave, and that has a lot to do with, as you and I have talked about, that has a lot to do with how you go through that process with your younger lawyers, your younger partners, and how you prepare them, and you sort of talk about it. It's interesting that many law firms, in fact, I would speculate to say most law firms, particularly larger law firms, don't like that conversation with the senior lawyers. They would they I my From my experience, having gone through this process of leaving big law and transitioning out. One of the things that I was startled by was how little thought larger firms actually give to this process. They don't want to have the conversation. They figure you'll decide what you're going to do when you're going to do it, and it'll just be what it's going to be, which is a huge loss. So the idea of having that dialogue and thinking about it like you are, is really critical to having that next phase of the law firm go. I mean, you you built it from 5 people to what it is now, and you obviously want to see it a full practice, twice the size it is now, the largest law firm in Mexico, probably, which is that's the sort of the motivation that drives lawyers, and particularly lawyers who have managed and ran law firms, obviously, and you're right in that mix. But somehow you're going to figure out how to get a little more golf in, though, right?
Yes, but I don't think so. I mean, I have to do something. I mean, go. I mean, you can play. I can play maybe one, two, maybe three times, but that's it.
Uh-huh.
The rest of the time, what I want to do, and I think I have to do something related to my career, and maybe to help people. For example, I'm part of this hospital, which is pro bono, and you have to see how beautiful is the hospital, how very nice things that they do every day. But at the same time, I need to find something that really help me to have my brain working, no?
Yep. And the beauty of that is that there are incredible number of options for more senior lawyers to do all sorts of things. And I mean, obviously, one is to be appreciated by their law firm and used as an asset to help it keep building and all the rest of it. You don't have to be working 20 hours a day to accomplish that part. And the other is just whatever fulfills you out there, whether it's at the hospital, and you're now you're going to be a doctor new, and I'm sure they want you to be a professor, so you can go there and teach these sniveling little lawyers who want to one day, be
Oh,
as successful as you are.
for
Lots
sure,
of options.
I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to be. I did for 12 years. It's enough.
And you did that. That gig is done.
Yeah.
Well, Roberto, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. Any final thoughts in terms of
Well,
being a lawyer and what it all means?
I think my recommendation to the young lawyers is have discipline, work hard, not only with respect to the knowledge of your career, the knowledge of yourself, the way you build yourself, how you do your exercise to be a good lawyer and a good person. And at the end of your life, you're gonna be at least happy to say, I did what I had to do.
Perfect.
No?
I couldn't end it better than that. Thank you,
Yeah.
Roberto.
Thank you, my
Be
friend.
well.
Thank you for joining us on the Dawn to Dusk podcast. You can learn more on building and transitioning a multi-million-dollar law practice in Doug's book, From Dawn to Dusk: How to Build a Multi-Million-Dollar Law Practice and Then Give It Away. If you're interested in working with Doug, suggesting future guests, or have questions you'd like Doug to ask guests in upcoming episodes, reach out to him at douglas.wood@wood.law or visit his website at dawntodusk.wood.law. And if you enjoyed the podcast, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your peers. Until next time, we appreciate your viewership. Thank you for joining us on the Dawn to Dusk podcast. You can learn more on building and transitioning a multi-million-dollar law practice in Doug's book, From Dawn to Dusk, How to Build a Multi-Million-Dollar Law Practice and Then Give It Away. If you're interested in working with Doug, suggesting future guests, or have questions you'd like Doug to ask guests in upcoming episodes, reach out to him at douglas.wood@wood.law or visit his website at dawntodusk.wood.law. And if you enjoyed the podcast, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your peers. Until next time, we appreciate your viewership.